The Super Bowl is over. By the way, that was a fantastic game, but what does that mean? Baseball season is practically here. Today is February 13th, which means that pitchers and catchers are officially reporting to spring training. I mean, you can make the argument that baseball's back. There's a trade that we have to talk about featuring some former top prospects. This was a trade between the A's and the Marlins. The Dodgers, they picked up a former star reliever, and then Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, he put his foot in his mouth again. He made some dumb comments about the Yankees and their fans. Again, before we talk about Brian Cashman putting his foot in his mouth or the Dodgers making a pretty underrated signing, we have to talk about this trade. So the Marlins and the A's, they made a pretty significant trade, at least in my opinion, because I really like AJ Puk. I don't understand the thought process of this trade for the A's, but when does that ever happen? If we go back to 2019, a few seasons ago, AJ Puk was the second-ranked prospect for the A's, and I wanted to show this because I thought it was funny. Jesus Luzardo, they're now teammates again on the Marlins, AJ Puk and Jesus. Sean Murphy is on the Braves, and Kyler Murray, he's on the Cardinals, and we're not talking about St. Louis, the Arizona Cardinals, the football team. And then in 2020, JJ Bleday was ranked higher than guys like Jazz Chisholm Jr., Edward Cabrera. He was supposed to be pretty decent back at Vanderbilt his senior year. I think he had 27 home runs. He hit above 300, but ever since that point, he's been struggling, but we'll talk about him in just a second. To me, the centerpiece of this trade is obviously AJ Puk. He is not going to be a starting pitcher. A lot of people were projecting him to be a stud, like a Kroger's version of Randy Johnson, because he's 6'7", 250. He throws absolute gas, but injuries kind of set him back. He was pretty solid last year. In 62 games, he had a 3.12 ERA and 76 strikeouts in 66 innings. Now, those numbers aren't going to blow you away, but for a team like the Marlins, they don't really have a ton of lefty relievers aside from Tanner Scott. In my opinion, AJ Puk has a higher ceiling than Tanner Scott. So for me, Tanner Scott, his days might be numbered if he starts fumbling the bag as a closer. But even though his strikeouts were slightly down in 2022, I mean, he only threw 13 innings in 2021. The walks were down. He only had a 3.1, I say only, 3.1 walks per nine is still not the best. He wasn't giving up a lot of hits. So AJ Puk, that's a very solid addition to a Marlins team that is up and coming. Now, unfortunately, JJ Bleday, he has been scuffling ever since he was ranked as the number 2 prospect for the Marlins. As we can see, last year in his first 204 at-bats, which is not a big sample size by any means, he still has some room to grow, but he hit 167, he had 5 home runs and 204 at-bats, he had 4 stolen bases, the slugging was at 309, his on-base percentage was 277, and a 67 OPS plus. I mean, there is talent. I'm not saying that JJ Bleday is a waste of a baseball player just yet. He just turned 25 years old in November. He was born in 97. So for me, JJ Bleday has nothing but time to grow with the A's. I mean, the A's are absolute garbage. They're a dumpster fire of a franchise. So again, he will have some playing time. So if you're an A's fan, let me know what you think of the potential of JJ Bleday. If you're a Marlins fan, let me know if you think that you robbed the A's, because in my opinion, you did. Also, I just want to know, ever since he hit 347 with 27 home runs at Vanderbilt in 2019, JJ Bleday, even in the minors, he's hitting 225. The on-base percentage is solid at 340 basically, but the slugging and everything, I mean, he cannot figure it out. He's basically Joey Gallo. And I'm talking about recent version of Joey Gallo. Back in the day, Joey Gallo, he's a 2-time All-Star. He's had flashes of being great. We haven't seen that yet from JJ Bleday. So for me, the Marlins, they won this trade easily. I don't know what the A's are doing. So up next, we are talking about an MLB record holder. Yes, Alex Reyes, as a rookie, he set a record. I don't know if you guys remember this, but to begin his career, he set a record for the most consecutive saves in a row without blowing a save. So again, to begin his career, he converted 24 consecutive saves. No one's ever done that in the history of baseball. So the fact that he's now on the Dodgers and they're a pitching factory, he could make some noise, because I mean, we saw Alex Reyes dominate baseball before he got injured. Now, the one thing I do want to know about Alex Reyes, even though he's coming back from a few injuries and he's going to a pitching lab that is the Dodgers, the biggest issue right now is we don't know if Alex Reyes and his command is going to be able to get fixed, because he has a career 11 strikeouts per 9, which is great. That's what you want out of a reliever, especially a closer. You want put away stuff, but he has a career 6.0, I'm not even exaggerating, walks per 9. And over the last few years, it's gotten worse and worse. So last year in 72 innings, he walked 52 hitters. He even hit a few guys as well. So the thing that we have to focus in with Alex Reyes is the fact that he is completely devastating and nasty when he's on. But he is going to worry you often because he hasn't pitched since 2021. The last time we saw him pitch, yeah, he was nasty with stuff. But I mean, that home run, I think it was against Chris Taylor. That was one of my few memories of Alex Reyes that just kind of sticks in my head right now. But that's the thing. Reyes, he's nasty, but the command, allowing a lot of runners to reach base, that's his biggest issue. But if we take a look at the bullpen for the Dodgers, Daniel Hudson, I know that he's older. He's about 36 years old. Evan Phillips, very underrated. Alex Vesia might be the best left-handed reliever in baseball over the last 2 seasons. Actually, I'm going to say he has been. Brusdar Graterol is very good. Yency Almonte, underrated as well. So when you throw in a guy like Alex Reyes into the mix, I'm not saying that he's going to be the closer or anything like that, but they gave Shelby Miller some money. He used to be pretty good back in the day. So again, if the Dodgers, they can turn around guys like Andrew Heaney and Tyler Anderson, who in my opinion came into 2022 as not bums per se, because I don't want to be mean or ruthless, but I was not banking on Andrew Heaney and Tyler Anderson to come away with fat contracts going into 2023 because of how they performed for the Dodgers. But that's what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers, the Guardians, the Rays, even some with the Yankees when they have Matt Blake, they're able to turn guys like Nestor Cortez into kind of scuffling into all-star players. Nestor Cortez has been a superstar over the last 2 years. And not to stray away from the Dodgers and what they've been able to do, but yeah, those are a few teams, in my opinion, that are good at developing pitchers. Now, because we just brought up the Yankees, we have to talk about Brian Cashman. So this paragraph right here, let's read it together. So apparently Brian Cashman was at a dinner or something with someone named Omar. So basically Omar and his kid was like, did you guys do well, talking about the Yankees in 2022 and the playoffs? And this is what Brian had to say. Well, you know, to be honest, Omar, the truth was in the end, we were 4 games short of the World Series appearance. I'm going to react to this in a second because even right there, I have an issue. But it felt like the way our fan base reacted and the press that we got knocked out in the first round. So you can't really remember sometimes reality versus the perception. And the perception, basically what he's saying is this is not truth, was that we didn't do well, the Yankees. The reality, what he thinks is truth, we had another hell of a run at it, but fell short. But that's just the New York market. Oh my God. So if we go back to this wonderful page, the Astros, they swept the Yankees. So when he says we were 4 games away from the World Series, it could have been 3, it could have been 2, but that's not possible because you stayed 4 games away considering you got swept. Now, were there some close games? I guess. Game 2 was 3-2, Game 4 was 6-5, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I remember watching all of these games. They didn't feel all that close in my opinion, and if you ask any Yankees fan, they understand. Like, Yankees fans are not stupid. They might be passionate and they might do some weird things like throw trash at baseball players, but because they're passionate, they do somewhat understand the game of baseball, and they understand a sweep, that's not something to write home about like, yeah, we made it to the World Series, good for us. Aaron Judge, no offense to him, absolutely love Aaron Judge. He choked, he was not good. And then the entire team could not hit baseballs, and this is what happened. You get swept by the Astros, who are a much better team all the way around. So Brian Cashman trying to put a spin on it that it was positive and we had another great run. No, you didn't technically. You got swept and you stayed at 4 games away from the World Series because of it. Now, I have been critical of Brian Cashman in the past, and I just think that he operates in such a weird way because he seems a little bit condescending. I'm not saying that he's not a nice guy, but to me, as a bystander, someone who's a Guardians fan, I don't care if the Yankees do well or not, but when I see him in conversation, he threw Aaron Judge under the bus. Aaron Judge almost walked because of that. I mean, that's strike 1 already. Strike 2 is trading for Josh Donaldson and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and then throwing your fan base under the bus. I mean, this is strike 3 in my opinion, and honestly, for Yankees fans across America, I feel like they're on strike 80. This guy's done a lot of weird things off the field to kind of just make you scratch your head and think, does he have the team's best interests at heart, or does he care about Brian Cashman's interests first? But anyways, I'm just happy that baseball is back. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed or learned something new, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you're bored, there's a video right next to my face that YouTube wants you to watch. So again, if you're bored, take a look at it.